The rain poured down in sheets, casting an eerie glow over the darkened streets of Willow Creek Estates. Behind the curtains of their manicured homes, residents of this affluent suburban community huddled in the shadows, whispering rumors and casting furtive glances out their windows. Amidst the hushed silence, a single figure moved with purpose, its footsteps echoing against the pavement. This was no ordinary homeowner. This was Sarah Blackwood, a woman driven by an unwavering determination to take down the corrupt homeowners association that had terrorized her family for years. As she approached the grand, Tudor-style mansion that served as the HOA's headquarters, Sarah's grip tightened on the satchel tucked under her arm. Inside lay the key to her long-awaited revenge, a trove of incriminating documents that would expose the HOA's web of deceit and manipulation once and for all. Asterisk. This is it, asterisk, she thought, her heart pounding in her chest. Asterisk, no more running, no more hiding. Tonight I bring them down, asterisk. Steeling her nerves, Sarah strode up the driveway and pushed open the heavy oak doors, her footsteps echoing through the cavernous foyer. The air was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the distant hum of security cameras and the occasional creak of the floorboards. Navigating the dimly lit hallways, Sarah made her way to the HOA's private conference room, where the governing board was rumored to hold their secret meetings. Pressing her ear against the door, she could hear the muffled voices of the HOA's elite, their words laced with a palpable sense of urgency. Asterisk, can't risk exposure. We need to act quickly before asterisk. The voice was abruptly cut off as the door swung open, and Sarah found herself face to face with the HOA's president, the formidable and ice-cold Olivia Sinclair. Well, Olivia purred, her lips curling into a predatory smile. If it isn't our resident troublemaker, Sarah Blackwood, I must say, I'm impressed. You've managed to slip past our security. Sarah's grip tightened on the satchel, her mind racing as she weighed her options. Olivia, she said, her voice laced with a mix of defiance and trepidation. I've come to end your reign of terror once and for all. Olivia's gaze narrowed, her eyes glinting with a dangerous calculation. Is that so? She murmured, her tone almost casual. I'm afraid I can't allow that. You see, we have a sensitive matter to attend to, and your presence here is most inconvenient. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps echoed from behind Olivia, and Sarah's blood ran cold as a familiar figure emerged from the shadows. Her husband, Michael, his expression one of resigned defeat. Michael, Sarah gasped, her heart sinking as the realization dawned on her. What is the meaning of this? Michael averted his gaze, his shoulders slumped in a silent admission of his betrayal. I'm sorry, Sarah, he whispered, but I had no choice. They threatened to take everything from us. Olivia's smile widened, her eyes gleaming with a twisted triumph. You see, my dear, when cross the HOA, there are consequences. And now you've left me no choice but to silence you permanently. As Olivia's minions closed in around her, Sarah felt a chill of dread wash over her. She had come here seeking justice, but now it seemed the only thing that awaited her was a fate worse than death. With her last ounce of defiance, she glared at Olivia and the traitor she once called her husband, her mind racing to find a way out of this nightmare. Asterisk, this is far from over, asterisk, she vowed, her resolve hardening even as the darkness closed in around her. Asterisk, I'll find a way to bring you all down, even if it's the last thing I do, asterisk. The air was thick with tension as Sarah Blackwood stood facing the formidable Olivia Sinclair and her husband Michael, who had betrayed her to the corrupt Homeowners Association. With her incriminating documents in hand, Sarah knew she had to think quickly if she had any chance of escaping this nightmare. So Sarah, Olivia purred, her cold eyes boring into the defiant woman before her. You stumbled upon our little secret. I'm afraid that simply won't do. Sarah's grip tightened on the satchel, her mind racing to find a way out. You won't get away with this, Olivia, she spat. I have evidence of your corruption, your illegal activities, everything. The world will know the truth about you and your twisted HOA. Olivia let out a chilling laugh. Oh, my dear Sarah, you really have no idea the extent of our power, do you? This community, these people, they're all under our control. And now you're going to disappear and no one will ever know what happened to you. With a nod, Olivia's goons surged forward, their hands reaching for Sarah. But in a sudden burst of adrenaline, Sarah darted to the side, narrowly avoiding their grasp. Clutching the satchel to her chest, she raced down the dimly lit hallway, her heart pounding in her ears. As she ran, Sarah's mind whirred, searching for a way to escape. She knew the HOA's headquarters like the back of her hand, having spent countless hours trying to uncover their secrets. Turning a sharp corner, she spotted a service stairwell and made a beeline for it, praying it would lead her to safety. The sound of pounding footsteps echoed behind her, spurring her on. She burst through the door and began climbing, her legs burning with the effort. But just as she reached the second floor, a figure stepped out from the shadows, blocking her path. Going somewhere, Sarah? A familiar voice drawled. It was Michael, his expression a mixture of sorrow and resignation. Sarah felt a surge of betrayal and fury. "How could you do this to me, Michael?" she cried, her voice laced with anguish. "After everything we've been through, how could you betray me like this?" Michael's gaze faltered, and for a moment, Sarah saw a glimmer of the man she had once loved. "I'm sorry, Sarah," he whispered, "but they threatened to take everything from us, our home, our savings, even our daughter. I didn't have a choice." Sarah's heart sank as she realized the true extent of the HOA's hold over her family. "There's always a choice, Michael," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "And you chose them over me." With a heavy sigh, Michael stepped aside, allowing Olivia's goons to close in on Sarah. As they grabbed her arms, she knew that her last chance of escape had slipped through her fingers. But even as the darkness threatened to consume her, Sarah refused to give up. "Asterisk, I will find a way out of this. Asterisk," she vowed, her eyes burning with determination. Asterisk, and when I do, I'll make sure Olivia and the HOA pay for their crimes, even if it's the last thing I do. Asterisk. Trapped in the clutches of Olivia Sinclair's thugs, Sarah Blackwood knew that time was running out. Her husband Michael's betrayal had shattered any hope of a quick escape, and now she found herself facing the full might of the corrupt Homeowners Association. As the goons dragged her down the dimly lit hallway, Sarah's mind raced, desperately searching for a way out of this nightmare. She could feel the incriminating documents in the satchel pressing against her side, a reminder of the powerful weapon she held in her hands. Asterisk, if I can just get to those documents. Asterisk, she thought. Asterisk, maybe I can turn the tables on them. Asterisk. Suddenly, a glimmer of hope appeared as they approached a set of double doors. Sarah recognized it as the entrance to the HOA's private conference room, the very place where the governing board held their secret meetings. Asterisk, this is my chance. Asterisk, she realized, her heart pounding. Asterisk, if I can get inside and expose their corruption, maybe I can still come out on top. Asterisk. With a renewed sense of determination, Sarah began to struggle against the goons' grip, her eyes darting around the hallway in search of any potential weapon or escape route. "Stop struggling, you fool," one of the goons growled, tightening his hold on her arm. "You're only making this harder on yourself." Sarah gritted her teeth, her mind racing. "You have no idea what you're up against," she snarled, her voice dripping with defiance. "When the truth comes out, Olivia and the rest of you will be rotting in jail." The goon let out a harsh laugh. "The truth? Don't make me laugh. Olivia has this whole town wrapped around her finger. No one's going to believe a word you say." As they reached the conference room doors, Sarah's heart sank. She had been so close, and now it seemed that her last chance of turning the tables on the HOA had slipped through her fingers. But just as the goons were about to push her through the doors, a sudden commotion erupted from behind them. Whirling around, Sarah's eyes widened as she caught sight of a familiar figure emerging from the shadows. Her daughter, Emma. "Mom!" Emma cried, her voice laced with fear and desperation. "What's going on? What are you doing to her?" The goons hesitated, caught off guard by the unexpected interruption. Sarah seized the opportunity, her fingers closing around the satchel strap as she tried to break free. "Emma, get out of here," she shouted, her voice strained with effort. "This is too dangerous, you need to." But before she could finish, a deafening gunshot echoed through the hallway and Sarah felt a searing pain in her shoulder. Gasping in agony, she crumpled to the ground, the satchel slipping from her grasp. As the world around her began to blur, Sarah caught a glimpse of Olivia's cold, triumphant gaze. "I warned you, Sarah," the HOA president murmured, her voice dripping with malice. "No one escapes the HOA." With those chilling words, Sarah's world went dark, the sound of her daughter's terrified screams ringing in her ears. Sarah Blackwood's eyes fluttered open, and she found herself staring up at a stark white ceiling. The air was thick with the acrid scent of disinfectant, and the distant beeping of medical equipment filled the silence. Asterisk, the hospital. Asterisk, she realized, her mind still groggy from the lingering effects of whatever had rendered her unconscious. Slowly, the events of the previous night came flooding back. The confrontation with Olivia Sinclair, the betrayal of her own husband, and the gunshot that had felled her in the HOA's headquarters. Sarah's heart sank as she remembered her daughter Emma's terrified cries, and a surge of panic gripped her. Asterisk, Emma. Asterisk, she thought, frantically searching the room for any sign of her child. Before she could call out, the door to her room swung open and a familiar figure stepped in. Michael, her husband, his expression a mix of relief and sorrow. "Sarah," he breathed, crossing the room to her bedside. "You're awake." Sarah's eyes narrowed, her voice laced with a mixture of anger and desperation. "Where's Emma? What happened to her? Is she okay?" Michael's gaze faltered, and he reached out to gently grasp her hand. "Emma's safe, Sarah. She's with her grandmother resting." Sarah let out a shaky breath, the tension in her muscles slowly easing. "Thank God," she murmured, her mind whirring with 1,000 questions. "But what about Olivia and the HOA? Did they know you're alive? Michael interrupted, his voice barely above a whisper. The gunshot wound wasn't fatal, but they were concerned about the potential fallout. Sarah's heart sank as she realized the implications of his words. So they're keeping me here, aren't they? She asked, her voice trembling with a mix of fear and resignation, trapped like some kind of prisoner. Michael nodded, his expression one of deep remorse. I'm so sorry, Sarah. I tried to convince them to let you go, but they wouldn't listen. They said they couldn't risk you exposing their corruption. Sarah felt a surge of bitter resentment towards her husband, the man she had once trusted with her life. And you just went along with it, didn't you? She spat, her eyes burning with accusation. You betrayed me, just like you did before. Michael flinched, his grip on her hand tightening. I had no choice, Sarah. They threatened to take everything from us, our home, our savings, even Emma. I couldn't let that happen. Sarah let out a hollow laugh, the sound devoid of any humor. So you chose to sacrifice me instead. How noble of you. Michael opened his mouth to speak, but before he could, the door to the room swung open once more, and Olivia Sinclair strode in, her expression one of cold calculation. Well, while the HOA president purred, her gaze settling on Sarah. Look who's finally decided to join us. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she glared at the woman who had orchestrated her downfall. Olivia, she growled, her voice laced with a defiant edge. I should have known you'd be behind this. Olivia's lips curled into a chilling smile. Oh, my dear Sarah, you have no idea the extent of my power. This community, these people, they're all under my control. And now you're going to be a part of that. As Olivia's lackeys entered the room, Sarah felt a chill of dread wash over her. She had come so close to exposing the HOA's corruption, and now it seemed that all of her efforts had been for naught. Asterisk, but I won't give up. Asterisk, she vowed, her eyes narrowing with determination. Asterisk, not until I've brought them all down, no matter the cost. Asterisk. Trapped in the clutches of the corrupt Homeowners Association, Sarah Blackwood knew that her time was running out. As Olivia Sinclair's goons surrounded her hospital bed, she felt a surge of dread and defiance coursing through her veins. What do you want from me, Olivia? She spat, her voice laced with a mixture of anger and fear. Olivia's lips curled into a cruel smile. Oh, my dear Sarah, I think you already know the answer to that. You become a liability, a loose end that needs to be tied up. And I simply can't allow that. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she realized the implications of Olivia's words. You're going to kill me, aren't you? She whispered, her voice trembling. Olivia let out a soft chuckle. Kill you? No, my dear, that would be far too easy. No, we have something much more fitting in mind for you. With a nod, one of the goons stepped forward, a syringe in his hand. Sarah's eyes widened in horror as she recognized the familiar label on the medication, a powerful sedative used to subdue unruly patients. What are you doing? She cried, her voice rising in panic as the goon approached her bedside. Oh, don't worry, Sarah, Olivia purred, her cold eyes gleaming with a twisted sense of satisfaction. This is just the beginning of your new life as part of our extended family. As the goon grabbed her arm, Sarah thrashed and struggled, but the lingering effects of her gunshot wound left her weak and powerless. With a swift jab, the needle pierced her skin, and she felt the sedative coursing through her veins. No, she screamed, her voice growing faint as the world began to blur. You can't. Do this. Olivia's laughter echoed in her ears as the darkness closed in, and Sarah felt herself slipping away, her final thoughts consumed by a tangle of fear, anguish, and a desperate determination to somehow, someway, break free. When Sarah next opened her eyes, the bright lights and sterile environment of the hospital had been replaced by a dimly lit, oppressive atmosphere. The air was thick with the scent of mold and mildew, and the distant hum of machinery filled the silence. Slowly, she pushed herself up, wincing at the sharp pain in her shoulder. As her eyes adjusted to the gloom, she realized that she was no longer in the hospital bed, but instead in a small, windowless room, its bare walls and concrete floor giving it the feel of a makeshift prison cell. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as the realization dawned on her. Asterisk the HOA, they've taken me somewhere, to God knows where. Asterisk. Panic began to set in as she tried to piece together what had happened, her mind a whirlwind of fragmented memories. She remembered the confrontation with Olivia, the gunshot, and then nothing. Asterisk Emma, asterisk, she thought, her breath catching in her throat. Asterisk, where is she? What have they done to my daughter? Asterisk. The sound of a heavy door creaking open drew her attention, and Sarah tensed, bracing herself for the arrival of her captors. But instead of Olivia or her goons, a familiar figure stepped into the room, her husband, Michael. Sarah's eyes narrowed, her voice dripping with a mixture of anger and desperation. Michael, what have you done? Where are we? Where's Emma? Michael's expression was one of deep sorrow and regret. I'm so sorry, Sarah, he whispered, his voice trembling. I didn't have a choice. They threatened to take everything from us, from Emma. I had to do what they said. Sarah felt a surge of anguish and betrayal wash over her. You sold us out, Michael, she spat, her hands clenching into fists. You betrayed your own family to save your precious HOA. Michael averted his gaze, his shoulders slumped in defeat. I know, he murmured, and I'll have to live with that for the rest of my life. But please, Sarah, you have to understand, I did it to protect you, to protect Emma. I couldn't let them take everything from us. Sarah's eyes narrowed, her voice laced with a steely determination. Well, you succeeded, Michael. They've taken everything from us, our freedom, our lives, our daughter. And now I'm going to make them pay. As Michael opened his mouth to respond, the sound of a familiar voice echoed from the hallway, freezing the words on his lips. Well, 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 Olivia Sinclair purred, her silhouette casting an ominous shadow in the doorway. It seems our little family reunion is just getting started. Sarah Blackwood's heart raced as Olivia Sinclair stepped into the dimly lit room, her cold, calculating gaze sweeping over the captive woman and her husband. What do you want from us, Olivia? Sarah spat, her voice laced with a mixture of anger and fear. Olivia's lips curled into a malicious smile. Oh, Sarah, don't you see? I already have everything I want. You and your pathetic family are now under my complete control. Sarah's eyes narrowed, her jaw clenching with determination. That's where you're wrong, Olivia. I will never stop fighting you, no matter what you do to me. Olivia let out a soft chuckle, her gaze unflinching. You really don't understand, do you? This isn't about you, Sarah. It's about the bigger picture, the future of Willow Creek Estates and the power of the HOA. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as Olivia's words sank in. What are you talking about? She demanded, her voice trembling with a mixture of dread and defiance. Olivia's expression darkened, her eyes glinting with a dangerous calculation. You see, Sarah, the HOA is more than just a homeowners association. It's a powerful, influential entity that controls every aspect of this community, the real estate, the economy, even the local government. Sarah's blood ran cold as the full scope of Olivia's ambition became clear. You're using the HOA to manipulate and exploit the people who live here, she breathed, her eyes widening with horror. Olivia nodded, her gaze unwavering. Precisely. And you, my dear Sarah, have become a threat to that power. That's why you're here, not as a prisoner, but as a member of our extended family. Sarah felt bile rise in her throat, the implications of Olivia's words making her stomach churn. You're going to keep me here, aren't you? She whispered, her voice trembling. Trapped like some kind of hostage. Olivia's smile widened, her eyes gleaming with a twisted sense of triumph. Oh, Sarah, you have no idea. This isn't about keeping you hostage. It's about ensuring that you and everyone else in this community remain loyal and obedient to the HOA. Sarah's heart pounded in her chest as she realized the true extent of Olivia's twisted plans. You're going to brainwash us, she breathed, her voice thick with horror. Make us your mindless puppets. Olivia let out a soft chuckle. Brainwash? Such an ugly word. I prefer to think of it as reprogramming. After all, what's the point of having power if you can't use it to shape the world around you? Sarah's gaze darted to her husband, who had remained silent throughout the exchange, his expression one of resigned defeat. Michael, you can't let her do this, she pleaded, her voice laced with desperation. You have to help me stop her. Michael's eyes fell to the floor, his shoulders slumped in shame. I'm sorry, Sarah, he whispered, his voice barely audible. I don't have a choice. I have to protect our family, no matter the cost. Olivia's laughter echoed through the room, the sound sending a chill down Sarah's spine. You see, Sarah, your husband understands the importance of loyalty, and soon you will too. As Olivia's goons surged forward, Sarah's heart raced with a mixture of fear and determination. Asterisk, he won't let them win, asterisk, she vowed, her eyes burning with a fierce resolve. Asterisk, he'll find a way to stop them, no matter what it takes, asterisk. Trapped in the clutches of the corrupt Homeowners Association, Sarah Blackwood knew that time was running out. As Olivia Sinclair's goons surrounded her, she felt a surge of desperation and defiance coursing through her veins. You'll never break me, Olivia, she snarled, her voice laced with a newfound determination. I'll find a way to stop you, no matter what it takes. Olivia's lips curled into a cruel smile. Oh, my dear Sarah, you really have no idea what you're up against, do you? The HOA is far more powerful than you could ever imagine. Sarah's gaze darted to her husband, Michael, who stood silently by Olivia's side, his expression one of resigned defeat. Michael, please, she pleaded, her voice tinged with desperation. You have to help me. You can't let them do this to us, to our family. Michael's eyes fell to the floor, his shoulders slumped in shame. I'm sorry, Sarah, he whispered, his voice barely audible, but I have to protect us, no matter the cost. Sarah felt a surge of anguish and betrayal wash over her. Protect us, she spat, her eyes narrowing with bitter resentment. You're protecting them, Michael. You're betraying your own family to save your precious HOA. Olivia let out a soft chuckle, her gaze sweeping over the captive woman and her husband. You see, Sarah, your husband understands the importance of loyalty, and soon you will too. As Olivia's goons surged forward, Sarah's heart raced with a mixture of fear and determination. Asterisk, he won't let them win. Asterisk, she vowed, her eyes burning with a fierce resolve. Asterisk, he'll find a way to stop them, no matter what it takes. Asterisk. But just as the goons were about to seize her, a sudden commotion erupted from outside the room. Shouts and the sound of pounding footsteps echoed through the halls, and Sarah felt a glimmer of hope flare to life within her. Asterisk, could it be help? Asterisk, she wondered, her heart pounding in her chest. Olivia's expression darkened, her eyes narrowing with a mixture of alarm and annoyance. What's going on out there? She snapped, glaring at one of her goons. The goon hesitated, his brow furrowed with uncertainty. I'm not sure, ma'am, but it sounds like some kind of disturbance. Olivia's jaw tightened, her fingers drumming impatiently against her thigh. Well, go and find out what's happening, she ordered, her voice laced with a dangerous edge. And don't come back until you have answers. As the goon hurried out of the room, Sarah's mind raced, searching for any opportunity to seize the upper hand. Asterisk, this could be my chance. Asterisk, she realized, her grip tightening on the edge of the rickety metal bed frame. Suddenly, the door burst open and a familiar figure stumbled in. Emma, Sarah's daughter, her eyes wild with fear and desperation. Mom, she cried, her voice trembling. They're coming, the police are coming. Sarah's heart soared with a mixture of relief and renewed hope. Asterisk, the police. Asterisk, she thought, her mind wearing with a desperate plan. Asterisk, this is my chance to expose Olivia and the HOA's corruption once and for all. Asterisk. But before she could react, Olivia's goons surged forward, their hands reaching for Emma. Sarah's protective instincts kicked in, and she lashed out, her fist connecting with one of the goon's jaws with a sickening crack. The goon reeled back, his grip loosening, and Sarah seized the opportunity, pushing past him and rushing towards her daughter. Emma, run, she shouted, her voice laced with a fierce determination. Get help, find the police. Emma hesitated, her eyes wide with fear. But Mom, just go, Sarah yelled, her voice cracking with emotion. I'll be okay, I promise. Just get help. With a nod, Emma turned and fled, disappearing out the door as Olivia's remaining goons surged forward, their hands closing around Sarah's arms. As they dragged her away, Sarah's gaze locked with Olivia's, her eyes burning with a defiant challenge. This isn't over, Olivia, she growled, her voice laced with a cold, unwavering resolve. I'll make sure the whole world knows what you've done. Olivia's expression darkened, her lips twisting into a menacing sneer. We'll see about that, Sarah, she hissed, her voice dripping with a mixture of fury and confident triumph. We'll see about that. As Sarah Blackwood was dragged away by Olivia Sinclair's goons, a sense of grim determination filled her. She had managed to send her daughter Emma to safety, but now she faced an uncertain fate at the hands of the corrupt Homeowners Association. Olivia's expression was a mask of cold fury as she watched the spectacle unfold. Take her to the holding cell, she ordered, her voice laced with a dangerous edge, and make sure she doesn't escape this time. The goons tightened their grip on Sarah's arms, and she winced at the pain. You won't get away with this, Olivia, she growled, her voice barely above a whisper. The police are coming, and when they find out what you've done, you'll all be going to prison. Olivia let out a chilling laugh. The police, Sarah? Oh, you really have no idea the extent of my influence, do you? She paused, her lips curling into a malicious smile. The police are already under our control. They won't be coming to save you. Sarah's heart sank as the gravity of the situation became clear. Olivia and the HOA had their fingers in every aspect of the community, including the local law enforcement. She was truly trapped, with no one to turn to for help. As the goons dragged her down the dimly lit hallway, Sarah's mind raced, searching for a way out of this nightmare. She couldn't give up, not when so much was at stake. Her daughter's safety, the truth about the HOA's corruption, it all hinged on her ability to escape and expose the truth. Suddenly, an idea began to take shape in her mind. Asterisk, the documents. Asterisk, she realized, her grip tightening on the satchel that still hung at her side. Asterisk, if I can just get those papers to the right people, I might have a chance. Asterisk. With renewed determination, Sarah began to struggle against the goon's grip, her eyes darting around the hallway in search of any potential escape route or weapon. Stop struggling, you foolish woman, one of the goons growled, tightening his hold on her arm. You're only making this harder on yourself. Sarah gritted her teeth, her mind racing. You have no idea what you're up against, she spat, her voice dripping with defiance. When the truth comes out, Olivia and the rest of you will be rotting in jail. The goon let out a harsh laugh. The truth? Don't make me laugh. Olivia has this whole town wrapped around her finger. No one's going to believe a word you say. As they approached a heavy metal door, Sarah's heart pounded in her chest. Asterisk, this is it. Asterisk, she thought, her fingers tightening around the satchel strap. Asterisk, me last chance. Asterisk. With a quick, fluid motion, she swung the satchel with all her might, the heavy document slamming into the goon's face with a sickening crunch. The man howled in pain, his grip loosening, and Sarah wrenched herself free, darting towards the door. But just as she reached for the handle, a familiar voice called out, freezing her in her tracks. "Sarah, stop." She whirled around to see Michael, his expression a mix of desperation and regret. "Michael, please," she pleaded, her voice laced with a mixture of hope and anguish. "Help me. Help me expose the truth about Olivia and the HOA." Michael's gaze faltered, and for a moment, Sarah saw a glimmer of the man she had once loved. I can't, Sarah," he whispered, his voice trembling. "They'll take everything from us, from Emma. I can't let that happen." Sarah felt her heart sink as the realization dawned on her. "You're really going to let them win, aren't you?" She murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. "You're going to let them destroy us all." Michael's shoulders slumped, his eyes filled with a profound sorrow. "I'm sorry, Sarah," he breathed. I have no choice." As the goons surged forward, Sarah knew that her final chance at freedom had slipped through her fingers. But even as they dragged her away, her grip tightened on the satchel, a glimmer of hope still burning in her heart. Asterisk, I'll find a way. Asterisk, she vowed, her eyes narrowing with a fierce determination. Asterisk, even if it's the last thing I do, I'll bring Olivia and the HOA down, no matter the cost. Asterisk. With that, the heavy metal door slammed shut, sealing her away from the world, yet fueling her resolve to uncover the truth and expose the corruption that had consumed her community.